White House correspondent Mike Carter joins us live now from the North Lawn with more.
Yeah, guys, good morning. Well, President Trump intimating this morning that a deal with Iran could be closer than maybe ever before. Just a little over an hour ago on Truth Social, the president saying on Truth Social, assuming Iran agrees to give what has been agreed to, which is perhaps a big assumption, the already legendary epic fury will be at an end, and the highly effective blockade will allow the Hormuz Strait to be open to all, including Iran. If they don't agree, the bombing starts, and it will be, sadly, at a much higher level and intensity than it was before. Well, you saw the president say Operation Epic Fury will be at an end. Well, yesterday, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Operation Epic Fury is already over.
Operation Epic Fury is concluded. We achieved the objectives of that operation. I'm not going to, we're not cheering for an additional situation to occur. We would prefer the path of peace.
All right, Epic Fury still in doubt, but what about Project Freedom, the president announced over the weekend? Yesterday, President Trump saying based on the request of Pakistan and other countries, and additionally the fact that great progress has been made toward a complete and final agreement with representatives of Iran, we have mutually agreed that while the blockade will remain in full force and effect, Project Freedom, that's the movement of ships through the Strait of Hormuz, will be paused for a short period of time to see whether or not an agreement can be finalized and signed with Iran. Well, speaking of Iran, just a week out before President Trump, his trip to China today, Iran's foreign minister meeting with his Chinese counterpart in Beijing, prompting questions on if China is putting pressure on Iran to cut a deal before Trump heads to Beijing next week.
A good relationship with President Xi. I find him to be a tremendous guy, and we get along well. And you see how we do. We're doing a lot of business with China and making a lot of money. We're making a lot of money. It's different than it used to be. But I'll be talking about that'll be one subject. But he's been very nice about this. In all fairness, he gets like 60% of his oil from Hormuz, and I think he's been very respectful. We haven't been challenged by China.
Of course, President Trump originally postponed his trip to Beijing earlier this spring to meet with Xi Jinping because of the start of Operation Epic Fury. The president slated to meet with Xi next Wednesday and Thursday in China. Later today, guys, President Trump will host Military Mother's Day here at the White House.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.